Good morning, Nigeria, and welcome to a brighter Tuesday morning. And it is July 1st. You are tuning to the Sun TV morning show. My name is Abraham Minor Judah. The day may be ordinary, but we promise that today's vibes will be extraordinary. So, let me tell you a quick story to stay your spirits. So many years ago, a young girl from a rural village walked almost 10 kilometers every day, despite the stigma against girls going to schools and the rest of it. But she decided to be just one of the few girls who told her parents that yes, she must go to school, she must acquire education. 10 hours after cooking, after fetching water, washing the clothes. The women at home, the young girls are the ones that do all the menial jobs at home. She walked 10 kilometers. And our school is just a school, a dilapidated building. So what they do is that they teach them under the trees. But years later, years of education, persistence, perseverance, she became a professor. And now she lectures in a world-class university with the best of facilities. Now, what is the moral of the story? Where there's a will and some education, there's always a way. That is the message for you this morning. And as Professor Grace Alele Williams once said, she's the first Nigerian female vice chancellor. Education is not just the key to the future. It is the very door we must walk through together to get there. So this morning, you grab your tea, your kunu, your pap, whatever it is that makes you feel good in the morning. And let's walk through that door with the top stories from the newspapers, from across the world, refreshing conversation, and a burst of Tuesday motivation. So let's go. And we've made this morning to give you a burst of motivation. It's Mr. Daniel Kukwen. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Abraham, and good morning out there. When there is a will, there is a way.
With education, there is a way. I love that. If there's a will, with the education. Now, education can come in many ways.
Yes.
It's not only through the four walls of the school that you get education. You get educated in every way. There's a will, and you get yourself educated in what will open the door. Definitely, there's a way.
Yes. That's
Happy
true.
New Month.
Happy New Month, yeah. Happy July to everyone out there, and happy New Month to the able director here.
Yeah, well, there's this question that came to my mind just as we were back coming in. This culture of Happy New Month, the New Year, the first day of the week, and the rest of it. Does these days have any special thing to it? Can't you do what you're supposed to do on the 15th of 16th of June?
Yeah,
Does it make any difference if you do it on a new month on July?
It doesn't really make any difference. It's just that some of these things, something that boosts the morale of somebody. They are, what do you call these people? These motivational speakers. It serves as some way of motivation for you to just say, okay, one, this is the first day, let me just do something. There's a way it motivates you. It doesn't have really some effect on the quality of what you do or the potential of what you do.
Well, I believe there are a lot of people out there who may agree with you or have a different view from what you just said. Now, maybe I should pose these questions to our viewers out there, and you can call in to let us know what you feel. Is there anything special about the 1st of January, the 1st of July, 1st of March, the first day of the month? It's a Happy New Month from Sun TV. But we want to know, is there maybe there's something extraordinary about it, and maybe share what's your view about the first day of the year, the first day of the month, and issues like that. So we are going to be coming. You can call in with your, you can call in into our lines. The lines will be open. You can call in and let us know what you feel about the new month. So that is what it is. So we are going to be opening the lines shortly. Okay, the lines are open now. So, well, with that, maybe we should go to the weather report for the first day of the month. The weather report for the first day of the month. This is Tuesday, July the 1st. Tuesday, July the 1st. Now, let's begin with the nation. Let us start with Charity Begins at Home. The weather now in Jalingo, it is 22 degrees, but it feels more like 25 with light rain in some parts of the city. Precipitation is 50%, humidity 94%, and the wind is 8 kilometers per hour. So that is for Jalingo, the capital city, the capital of Taraba State. While the nation's capital, Abuja, the skies are overcast this morning with a temperature of 26 degrees. It feels more like 28, so we expect a high of 28 degrees and a low of 21 degrees as the day progresses with light southeast winds blowing at 4 kilometers per hour. Now, around the nation in Sokoto, it is the hottest spot today at 29 degrees. And overcast skies and mild winds. That is the country high. Meanwhile, Zaria and Kaduna experiences some thunderstorms and passing cloud, and both holding steady at 21 degrees, making Zaria the coldest city today. Now, Lagos and Abeokuta are waking up to a scattered cloud with temperatures around 25 degrees, staying warm and humid throughout the day. Meanwhile, Akure, Ibadan, Osogbo, Port Harcourt are covered in low clouds, keeping the weather mild at 24 degrees. In Yola, it's overcast and warm at 26 degrees, while Katsina enjoys sunny and mild conditions at 23 degrees. Oka, Asaba, Owerri, Umuahia, Yenagoa enjoy partly sunny skies with a consistent 24 degrees across board. Bauchi is also at 24 degrees under low cloud cover. And in terms of the wind, the highest gust is reported in Sokoto at 11 degrees. And hold on to your hat if you're up north. So if you're up north, you're wearing the cap, you hold on to it because the winds may just take them off. But the weather tip of the day, with overcast skies in many cities and possible storms in the north central region. Don't forget your umbrella, your raincoat, and drive safely. Amid weather across most of the parts of the country makes it a good day for indoor productivity. So another forecast, if you're wearing the wig, make sure it's tight in some part of the north. Back to begin the morning show.
Stuck in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing Supercab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds. Safe, fast and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the Supercab app today. Supercab, your ride your way. Are you stuck in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing Supercab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds. Safe, fast and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the Supercab app today. Supercab, your ride, your way.
Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC. The Financial Services
When a tanker bearing fuel falls or an underground pipe bearing fuel bursts, what do? Scooping fuel in your bucket or running far away from impending fire? You have a few seconds to take the wisest decision. Walk away? No, that is not enough. Shift? No, that is not enough. Stay there and gist and take shots with your phone? That is madness. Run. Yes, run away. Yes, your life depends on your action. The flames come suddenly, unexpected but uncontrollable. Why? Fuel is highly inflammable. Why? It just requires a spark to set off a ravaging inferno. So, don't stay there to think. Storm away to live. Do not throw away your life in anguish for meaningless fuel siphoning. Be advised. When a tanker bearing fuel falls or an underground pipe bearing fuel bursts, what do? Scooping fuel in your bucket or running far away from impending fire? You have a few seconds to take the wisest decision. Walk away? No, that is not enough. Shift? No, that is not enough. Stay there and gist and take shots with your phone? That is madness. Run. Yes, run away. Yes, your life depends on your action. The flames come suddenly, unexpected but uncontrollable. Why? Fuel is highly inflammable. Why? It just requires a spark to set off a ravaging inferno. So, don't stay there to think. Storm away to live. Do not throw away your life in anguish for meaningless fuel siphoning. Be advised.
Welcome back to the morning show on Sun TV. We really appreciate the fact that you're still there watching us on the morning show. And before we went on that break, I said I raised a poser. Is there anything special about the first day of the month, this first day of the year? Can't you do what whatever you do on the 15th, on the 16th, on the 17th? Is it any different from what you do on the first of the month and also the first of the year? So we would like to hear your views, and the lines will be open. The lines will be displayed. You can call in and let us have your views on what you feel about the first day of the month, the first day of the year, the first day of the week, and so on and so forth. So we look forward to hearing from you. But while we are there, let us go to the papers this morning. We'll be starting with the Vanguard newspaper. The Vanguard newspaper has the story, PDP factions close ranks. Afem Ayaun as National Secretary. The story is on page 5. Page 5, then we also have this disturbing story, kidnappings, youth set Emir's Palace, NDLA office ablaze in Kwara. And that is the story that I would like us to look at this morning. Angry youths in Lafiagi headquarters of Edu local government on Monday stormed the palace of their monarch, the Emir of Lafiagi, and the Office of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, in the town and set them ablaze over unabated kidnappings in the area. Tensions have gripped the Lafayette community. On Monday, a development that prompted protests by youth in the community to express their feelings on the abduction of a popular businessman. The angry resident has earlier staged a protest on Monday over the latest kidnap incident, blocking roads, burning used tires, and demanding urgent government intervention before they burned their Monarch's Palace and the LEA's office. The protesters in a viral video also cited the recent abduction of a young man operating a point-of-sale business as further evidence of growing insecurity in the area. The situation is getting out of hand, one of the residents said in a video circulating during the protest. And the residents are urging security agencies to intensify patrols, track down the kidnappers, and ensure the safe return of those abducted. The burning of the Monarch Palace and the office was fueled by the latest adoption of a prominent agrochemical dealer, widely known as Alhaji Chemical, on Sunday. Local told Vanguard that Alhaji Chemical was reportedly abducted from his home in the Taiwo area of the town around 1 a.m. on Sunday by government suspected to be bandits. And that is the story. But it is really sad that the issue of adoption, kidnappings, is becoming very, very rampant across Nigeria. And the resident of Lafayette had to go on this protest because it was getting out of hand.
Well, this report was featured on the news yesterday. That is Sun TV News at 9 p.m. And I watched it and I was overwhelmed. Actually, you don't solve a problem by creating another problem. That is one thing the youth in Lafayette and the youth all over Nigeria should know. You don't solve a problem by creating yet another problem. The emirs whose palace you burn down is not spared. If those abductors have a way of getting him, they will have gotten him too. So he is just lucky to be there, and he's just a victim of circumstance that he just came and burned down. I think he's helpless to some extent. The issue is that we're having the failure of the states. The authorities are not doing what they're supposed to do, or somehow, in one way or the other, their efforts is not enough to stop some of these crises. This thing keep reoccurring all over Nigeria. Lafayette is not an isolated case. It is all over Nigeria. Nowhere is particularly safe, as in the true sense of the word safe. So let's not resort to violence, no matter the case. If they have taken up the case in a more civilized way, I think it will have been better. Maybe form a vigilante, follow up the track of the abductors. This energy they have used in burning down this Drugs Law Enforcement Agency and the Emir's Palace. If they have channeled that energy towards pursuing these abductors, it will have gone a long way to maybe solve the problem. Well, I think, again, that it's just a way of venting their frustration, but I think they took it too far, up to the extent of burning the palace down and burning a government institution down. Is wrong.
Well, I think I support the people of the youth of Lafayette to protest. It's their fundamental right to protest, and they have every right to protest, especially when lives is in danger, that the kidnappings and the rest. But I support them to the point whereby they have every right to protest. But I also let them know that it is a criminal offense. It is arson. It is criminal offense to set ablaze the property of anyone, whosoever that person may be. To set ablaze the properties, to destroy and set ablaze the property of the palace of the Emir of Lafayette, and also the office of the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Just like Mr. Era said, you don't solve a problem by creating another problem. Now you've burnt down the palace of the Emir. For what? Are there kidnappers there? Then the office of the NDLA, that I would like that to be investigated. Could it be that some people infiltrated the protest in order to release some of their co-criminals that are under the detention? Then there's another thing. You know, with the rise in drug abuse now, those that are users of drugs and dealers of drugs may be having serious issues with NDLA in the city, and they just use this opportunity. Because I begin to wonder, I was expecting to say, okay, maybe if it was the police station, I will agree. I'll say maybe the police, they are angry that the police are not doing their job, or why they were at it, the police came to disperse them and the rest. But why the NDLA? So that means some people have infiltrated the protest, and they've used the opportunity to destroy and ensure that they handicap the NDLA in that town so that their drug business can flourish. If you ask me, I would say that should be investigated, and those who instigated the burning of the NDLA office and also the Emir's Palace should be brought to book. Meanwhile, there's a need for government to focus on bringing insecurity to the minimum in Nigeria. The rate at which kidnappings, banditry, just attacks, the loss of human life is getting out of hand, and it's more as if we are all in a war situation.
We'll look forward to the abductors being released in good health and coming back to reunite with the community, their families, and their friends.
Okay, look at it. Contacted the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Kimi Ojo, who confirmed the incident, said he was in Lafayette on Monday alongside Brigade Commander of 22 Brigade Zobi Ilorin. Stated that the protest was organized by some miscreants who damaged some louvers in the Emir's Palace and touched the office of the NDA in the community. The miscreants who ran away on citing the police and the soldiers also freed 4 suspects who were in detention at the NDLA office in Lafayette. They say, as I'm speaking with you, the police, soldiers, hunters, and local vigilantes are in the bush in Lafayette in search of those kidnapped by the bandits after the brigade commanders addressed them. So, well, I think there's a need to go after the kidnappers and also to fish out those people who destroyed the property.
And freed their colleagues.
Yes, and freed their colleagues. Well, let us go to the next paper here. I think, yes, the Punch. Let's go to the Punch. Okay, the Punch on July 1st has the story on the cover page. APC NEC convenes July 24 to decide Ganduje's successor. Let's look at, you see, APC, Ganduje resigned, the national secretary, vice national,
deputy national
chairman, not took over his position in acting capacity, that is Alhaji Dalori. And they've quickly agreed to July 24 to decide Ganduje's successor.
Yeah.
I think we'll look forward to the intrigues and the power play that will lead to who will succeed Ganduje. As for the APC, we know the chairman will come from the north.
They've all said there's supposed to be North Central. I think they're talking about North Central. Yeah. Because Ganduje took over from Abdullahi Adamu, who was former governor of Nasarawa State, so he's from North Central. So the agitation has been there for the North Central to complete the tenure.
So if the North Central completes the tenure, takes over, that means the North Central may be automatically ruled out of the VP slot.
Most likely.
Most likely they'll be ruled out of the VP slot.
So, and this may be another, we've received speculations that, what's it called, Kwankwaso is being prepared for the vice presidential position in 2027. So this could be another permutation of removing Ganduje from the Northwest, so that the Northwest now will be qualified for the vice presidential position.
Let's see how it pans out.
They should learn too from the mistakes of PDP, so that they don't degenerate.
And
they say ensure that whosoever is constitutionally allowed to be the chairman to be selected. They should not do what PDP is doing now that has degenerated to 1 or 2 agitations that the acting chairman is not supposed to be there and this and that.
Well, emergency rule, Tinubu may restore Fubara Rivers lawmakers in July. That story is on page 2.
Is it 6 months already?
It's not yet 6 months. I think maybe you restore them earlier than
the 6 months.
The 6 months. Well, NEC fallout, warring PDP blocks reunite for 2027 showdown. the governors, Damagum, Saraki, asserts PDP unity once APC. Southeast PDP rejects Wike's allies returns. Let us look at their story. It seems there may be a headway for the PDP. The Punch here reported that the 100th National Executive Committee meeting of the People's Democratic Party unanimously reinstated Senator Samuel Anyanwu as a party's national secretary on the condition that he withdrew all legal cases and does not obstruct the forthcoming National Elective Convention slated for August. Reliable sources within the PDP national headquarters who spoke on condition of anonymity due to lack of authorization to speak on the issue disclosed that the governors, members of the National Assembly, and the Board of Trustees collectively agreed to reinstate Anyanwu, provided he refrained from victimizing any party staff and commits to working harmoniously with all members of the National Working Committee. Additionally, while addressing journalists after the NEC meeting held in Abuja on Monday, PDP Acting National Chairman Umar Damagum confirmed that Anyanwu has been officially reinstated. Damagum said the 101 NEC meeting has been scheduled for July 23 to finalize arrangement for the upcoming National Convention. What do you think with this they are beginning to make a headway?
Yes, it is clear that they're beginning to make a headway. You know, the two disagreeing factions are beginning to say, okay, now they're beginning to give conditions. Anyanwu must not do this, he must not do this, he must not do this. Then we're accepting that he should be reinstated. So I think this is a way forward. Everybody is making a concession, they're shifting grounds a little bit so that peace will reign. I think it is on the right path now. Let's see how they're going to come out of it. They should ensure to maintain this peaceful move. It should not degenerate at any point in time. The BOT chairman and the secretary, Makarfi and Adolfo Zwabara, have issued a statement condemning tendencies that are anti-democratic. So we look forward to PDP coming back strong and becoming a viable opposition that it used to be before this crisis.
Well, if you look at the events that led to to what happened yesterday, we've had the internal split. There's a wide power struggle within the party. One bloc aligned with Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde and supported by Governor Peter Mbah, Oyediri, Ademola Adeleke, Dauda Lawal, and 11 NWC members and their influential party leaders. They are pushing for the NEC meeting to go ahead and plan and firmly oppose to Anyawu's return. While in contrast, the faction led by former Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike with the backing of Governors Caleb Mutfwang, Kefas Agbu, Adamu Fintiri, Bala Mohammed, as well as Damagum, Baturi, and Ajibade support Anyawu's reinstatement and has called for the NEC meeting to be delayed. I think these are the Kefas, Adamu, Fintiri, Mutfwang, Wike, Bala Mohammed faction got their wish.
They got their way, yes.
Yeah, they got their wish. The schedule of the conflicting meetings by both factions were that further hiding tension. Okay. I think yesterday the police has stopped some people from gaining access, and they have been the police said they were called to restore order. But we've seen BOT chairman, Senator Adolfo Zwabara, and Secretary, Senator Ahmed Makarfi, speaking briefly to journalists before the meeting, stressed the need for party unity. Makarfi said arrived at 10 a.m. at the Bauchi Governor's Lodge as instructed. The meeting involved the governors, the National Working Committee, the National Assembly, minority leader. His purpose was to bridge gap within the party, ensuring that we could convene as a united front as the planned NC meeting rather than emerging divided. Well, as it is, I'm sure, because I saw it somewhere that the Southeast has rejected. You know, the Southeast caucus were the one that nominated Ude Okoye. I think they are, as far as they've made this first move, let's see, maybe.
And there is this advantage that these moves have. The fact that whatever it is that this faction now does will be recognized by INEC, will be recognized by law. So this is the advantage that they have. The Southeast should endeavor to shift ground for the sake of peace, You understand? If they allow the Okoye slide, it's not going to kill them. They will still continue and they will still achieve their dreams and aspirations as a political party. They should consider the fact that whatever it is that they do, that is aside the reinstatement of Ayahu, that is going to constitute some sort of illegality in the eyes of INEC and other state actors that are involved in this matter. So the wise thing for them to do, the best thing for them to do is to accept this and bring up order of their terms. You understand? Allow reinstatement of Ayahu and bring up another terms. And say, okay, maybe we want to do Okoye to be this and that, this and that, this and that. But allow you, because after all, the convention will soon be here, and whosoever does not like Ayahu should vote him out at that point in time. It's not going to be the secretary that is the embattled secretary for too long from now.
It's just for a short time. Now, speaking to journalists after the meeting, Damagum confidently stated that the PDP possessed internal mechanisms strong enough to resolve all its internal crises. He said, I'm here to brief you on the outcome of our interactions with NEC as regards the National Secretary. We've combined in one, and we are all together, and we all agree that Senator Anyan will continue as to act as National Secretary. And they also bring the issue of convention to bring it up the neck, which is stated for 23rd of July. It says at that time we'll be able to convene a proper NEC where myself and Senator Anyan will sign, which is to fulfill the regulatory requirement of INEC in convening meetings. So if they can get this done and pass the message, send a letter to INEC, I think they will not have much issues after that.
There is wisdom in this position of the acting national chairman. So they should go ahead with it and ensure that all the aggrieved parties are carried on board in one way or the other.
Okay, that is what all we can take concerning that issue on the Punch. So let's go to the Daily Times. Okay. NBRDA DG raises alarm over impending famine, drought threats in Nigeria. That story is on page 11. And Nigeria ready to export democracy, technical support to Malawi, says Bianca Ojukwu. While we have the story, we can recover 7,000 hectares from Union Abuja slums illegal land grabbing. Then court grant Natasha Akpoti bail on self-recognition as federal government arraigns her. That story is on page 2. Federal government delegation visit Dantata family in Medina ahead of burial. Story is on page 5. Then Dalori takes over as acting APC national chairman, preside over NWC meeting. Stories on page 11. China World Bank emerged top creditors as Nigerian debt hit 149 trillion naira. That story is on page 12 of the Daily Times. While the major headline on the Daily Times says 2027, I will be on the ballot, not discussing joint ticket with Atiku. That's Peter Obi. He said he will be on the ballot and he's not discussing joint ticket with Atiku. The Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, has assured his supporters of his determination to run as a candidate in the 2027 presidential election, insisting that he will be on the ballot. Obi disclosed that he is not in any discussion towards running a joint ticket with Atiku Abubakar. And according to a statement from Peter Obi Media Reach, he, however, added that if he wins the 27 poll, he will not seek a re-election. I have not joined any form of discussion on joint tickets, including with Atiku. If there's any form of agreement that will restrict me to 4 years, I will comply with the agreement and be ready to leave office by 28 May 2031. I said this on Sunday night during an interaction with his supporters on X Space. Now, these are two things. One is not, from the way it is, he will be on the ballot. It's not going to, people have been flying the kite of the 2029 ticket coming back again. Atiku will be saying he's not in any joint discussion.
Well, if what happened in 2023 election repeats itself, will repeat itself in 2027. I think the best thing for Obi and Atiku to do is for them to join forces. But if it is not going to repeat, then it's fine. I agree that Obi may not join ticket with Atiku in 2027, but to say he may not continue after 2031 is something else.
Well, he said our vote in 2027 will count and will ensure they count. He said 3 things to follow up in the first 100 days. Prioritize security, education, and poverty.
If he wins.
If he wins.
Oh, that was what Tinubu told us.
Whether to say, my president will ensure that there is strong opposition in party politics. There will be no defection of elected officers to other parties.
How will he do that?
He has also been moving from one party.
So I don't know. How will he even enforce that? See, if somebody wants to decamp to his political party, he will go about saying, no, we don't want you to come. Or what?
I don't know, except maybe laws will be made. But without, he can only facilitate such a law, but he can't say that I don't think there is, he can do that.
Now, this is indicative of the fact that he is talking too much and there is no need for him to say some of these things. Since, okay, how will he enforce these assertions that he's making? How will he ensure that nobody decamps?
Well,
so I don't think
maybe he has his plans that we don't know about. And he's talking to himself. Maybe, and also politicians, you have to say what your people want to hear.
Wants to hear. So, and that's the more reason why we should be careful with him. So that we don't know.
We should be careful with every politician. They all make promises, every one of them. The president made a lot of promises that we are still searching for the results up to now.
Yeah.
Same thing with our governors, our senators, and everybody. They make promises. They tell us things we want to hear.
And we keep comparing ourselves with the countries in the West and other advanced democracies. How did they got to the point where they are now? I remembered when, though somebody would say South Africa has been a democratic nation even before they got independence. But I think we're democratic nations too before we got independence in Nigeria. You see, there's a way these people will say things and stick to it. Their politicians are not the kind of politicians that make promises that they don't keep. Even when their democracy is nascent. You understand?
If you ask me, even look at South Africa, they are beginning to return back home.
To learn from Nigeria.
They are beginning to return, not Nigeria, they are beginning to, their politics is beginning to, after we had Nelson Mandela, we have Thabo Mbeki, then after them, this Zulu chief, what's his name?
Jacob Zuma.
Zuma.
Yeah.
During the time of Zuma, they started giving us these African vibes.
Yes.
And now it's still the same. My fear is that South Africa is beginning to learn some of the things that they didn't have during the time of Nelson Mandela. So I think our democracy, the way we run democracy in this part of the world, we still don't, maybe culturally, we are not fit for this kind of democracy, but we can still look for something that works for us. The problem is not, we've seen places where there's no democracy and they have development. The problem is that we must work in such a way that development, whatever it takes, if it's one party, if it is multiple party, if it is dictatorship, if it is let there be development, and people will not complain.
I think that reminds me of what, towards the end of his life, I think Antonio Naharo, in 1999, I remember him making assertions that Nigeria were not supposed to be practicing this kind of democracy we're practicing. He was supposing that we call our president, not Your Excellency, we call him High Chief. you know, so that to have this African vibe, we're not used to this kind of democracy that we're practicing now. So maybe that's just it. Maybe we should try it for some years and see whether it's going to work.
It will, as long as we go with this mindset, it won't work. If you like, call the person your high priest. After all, we swear with the Bible and the Quran before taking, but we still do what we have to do. Well, let's go to another paper. Let's go to the Guardian. Well, the Guardian has the story, Obi denies Parks with Atiku, backs rotational presidency. That news is on page 4. And we also have Al Shetima stroke APC early neck meeting. The story is also on page 4. Senator Natasha reigned on alleged cybercrime, granted bail. Stories on page 30. Calls to strip president of power to appoint INEC officials intensify. Stories also on page 4. PDP upbeat on party's prospects after NEC meeting. Okis Anyanwu's reinstatement. Stories also on page 6. Resident urge Fubara to make public peace condition with Wiki. Well, stories on page 29. Have you seen recently the love affairs between Wiki and Fubara?
Yes, I saw them attending
the
the funeral of Wiki's uncle. And, well, the optics are showing that they actually...
I also saw a picture where they were wearing the same color of clothes, blue.
I have not seen that. But I saw as they were carried in one vehicle, Wiki was in the other side, and Fubara was on this side. And, you know, during that funeral, Wiki, that's Fubara, came in sort of late. Wiki was already singing from the program. So when he saw Fubara, there's a way he acknowledged him that you would know. He was telling the person sitting beside him to move. So Fubara will come and sit.
Well, that is politicians for you. But I just pray that whatever it is they agree on should be in the interest of the people of Rivers.
Well, I like what they're doing, even if it is not sincere. After all, how will you know the sincerity of this move until it proves otherwise? Peace is the best thing. If you have an opportunity to reconcile with somebody that you're having differences, go ahead and take that opportunity. It is worth it. You understand? When you pursue peace like they are doing now, there will definitely be development.
Definitely.
Though some people assert that it is their arrangement for...
whatever it is better than the situation that
was
before when
the state
you
of
have 3 members of the House of Assembly making laws every day, going to court. At least whatever it is now, let them just settle down, and then let's see how things works out. Yeah. Then we have this story: court sentence pastor to 25 years imprisonment for defiling daughter. That is quite.
That's animalistic. Well, some of these things are sensitive. They may not be the way it is. Okay, he has been sentenced already. It means then he should pay for it. It is a criminal offense in Nigeria, and it is against our culture. There is no way they will allow something like that to go without being punished. Okay,
we also have that report links 871,000 yearly deaths to loneliness. Yes, a report yesterday to loneliness. So there are lots of loneliness in the land. So there's a need, I think it's across the world. And also don't forget to call in and let us know what you feel about the 1st of July. Is it a special day, the 1st of the month, the 1st of the year, the first day of the week? Let us feel you. And also, if you have anything to contribute to this, you can also bring it forward. So that is what we're going to take this morning. Okay. Now, let's go to the major story in the Guardian. Our interest overlapping roles may undermine new tax regime. That story is on Guardian. Our interest and overlapping roles may undermine tax regime. Less than a week after the much-expected tax retooling laws were signed, there are rising concern that the ambitious objectives of the reform can be derailed by entrenched political structures, vested interests, and coordinated failure. The government is looking at pushing through President Bola Tinubu's ambition of raising the country's tax-to-output ratio, which is considered one of the lowest in the continent, to 18% in the life of the current medium-term expenditure framework, transitioning to a more progressive tax system, building a more supportive fiscal framework, and streamlining collection. However, gaping holes in the pieces of legislation could derail the implementation and scuttle the ambitious goals, a possibility that calls for urgent realignment and tackling of the inherent weakness. Well, do you think this tax is going to bring some sanity? Because as it is now, with our tax inclusion is one of the lowest in the continent. So looking at bringing it to about 18% in the life of this medium-term expenditure framework, I think it will span from now to maybe three. It was a 3 years plan or so. Do you think we can achieve much under this?
Yes, there's this thing I've said before now that we have gone past the stage where we're trying to see how this tax reform bill will be signed into law. Now it has come to stay. How we manage this transition window is very important, because at this point in time, it is capable of undermining whatever efforts that, whatever successes that have been attained before the signing of the tax reform bill. It is important for the state actors and whatever stakeholder that is involved in this matter to see to it that this transition window is properly followed. All the I's should be dotted and all the T's should be crossed, so that we don't have unnecessary challenge when this implementation process comes. We still have a window between now and I think 6 months.
Yes,
because,
6 months.
by January, that is
window.
when the implementation will commence.
Yeah.
Before then, it should be a committed effort. The sociocultural groups, the Arewa Consultative Forum, the Arewa Youth, the Oduduwa, whatever it is.
To me, now it is the experts that should be speaking. All those political groups have done their
They should create their awareness too, because we're looking forward to people, the compliance. You understand? That is when the Arewa Consultative Forum become relevant. They should create the necessary awareness so that compliance should not be another uphill tax.
Look at the report here. I think they just, like the Guardian was just reasoning along the direction you were going. Say, whereas the bill has been assented by the president and a 6-month transition window handed down to the relevant agency, the Guardian understands the scope of work required to be executed before January was understated. Some policy experts have suggested that the presidential assent should mark another round of consultations, as debate on some of the conflict points concerned were already concluded, which poses a landmark threat to the execution. There are also questions emerging around the overlapping mandates of revenue collecting institutions, including the Nigerian Customs Service, the Nigerian Oil Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and the proposed tax behemoth, Nigerian Revenue Service, NRS, which will succeed the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS. Now,
and look at these terms you mentioned now. Some of these things are new. Even the learned may not understand the technicalities, the legal aspect of some of these things.
Yes.
So that awareness is actually necessary. And capacity too. The workforce, the civil servants in Federal Inland Revenue Service and the state revenue agencies. There is a need for this training and retraining, this awareness, proper explanation of how to go about this. Some of these are actually new. You may discover that what we're experiencing now in local government autonomy case may again come up in January when these things begin to be implemented.
Okay. Now there's this other story that I want us to, I just want us to look at this story. Nigeria established diplomatic ties with St. Lucia. The president Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been in St. Lucia, a country somewhere
in Caribbean. I've never heard of that country before until I learned that the president is going to.
Well, the story is that most St. Lucian former slaves were Nigerians. That is what we have been meant to understand. President Bola Tinubu announced yesterday the establishment of diplomatic relations with St. Lucia, describing it as a symbolic bridge that will provide a gateway in fostering closer ties between us. Tinubu stated this while addressing a special joint session of the Senate and House of Assembly of St. Lucia at the William Jefferson Clayton Ballroom, Sandals Grande, Gross Inlet, St. Lucia. Well, to me, if you ask me, I'm still not convinced what the president is doing in St. Lucia. Still not convinced. If you ask me, I don't think St. Lucia has more to offer to Nigeria than Taraba State.
Yes, I don't know. I don't have those details, but maybe he's thinking we already have Taraba State and there is a need for us to add more to our bilateral league of nations.
But there's a communication gap, if you ask me. What exactly? We don't really know. I don't know. I don't really know the rationale behind the president's visit. I'm not convinced by the information coming out. I'm just not convinced about the information. And a lot of people are asking the same question: what is the economic value of Nigeria's relationship with Lucia? What is the political value? What is the value of our relationship with St. Lucia at this critical time? This is not the time that we have time to be going on such a jamboree. I'm not saying it's a jamboree, but this is a period whereby all hands must be on deck in Nigeria to ensure that we have insecurity, we have economic issues, we have inflation, we have unemployment, we have other issues that the president, I feel, could be attending to rather than going to St. Lucia, if you agree, with all due respect to the people of St. Lucia.
Well, let's see how it goes. If you listen to him, he has given us assurance that the state visit is going to be beneficial to Nigerians. Let's see how it turns out. We look forward to the benefits being made available to Nigerians in the long run.
Okay, well, I think this is where we'll draw the curtains on this edition of this segment of the morning show. I will now go for a commercial break, and when we come back, the Pidgin segment continues.
When a tanker bearing fuel falls or an underground pipe bearing fuel bursts, what do you do? Scooping fuel in your bucket or running far away from impending fire? You have a few seconds to take the wisest decision. Walk away? No, that is not enough. Shift? No, that is not enough. Stay there and gist and take shots with your phone? That is madness. Run. Yes, run away. Yes, your life depends on your action. The flames come suddenly, unexpected but uncontrollable. Why? Fuel is highly inflammable. Why? It just requires a spark to set off a ravaging inferno. So, don't stay there to think. Storm away to live. Do not throw away your life in anguish for meaningless fuel siphoning. Be advised.
The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC. The Financial Services Regulation Coordinating Committee, FSRCC, in collaboration with the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, wishes to draw the attention of the public to the worrisome increase in the activities of illegal financial operators, IFOs, which threaten public trust and the stability of the Nigerian financial system. The FSRCC and NBC hereby advises the general public to refrain from dealing with unlicensed financial operators who deceive individuals with unrealistically high investment returns. Make sure to verify the licensing status of such companies and schemes on this website. To report any suspicions of illicit financial activities, call Let's work together to uphold the integrity of Nigeria's financial system. Announcer, FSRCC.
Tucked in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing Supercab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds. Safe, fast and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the Supercab app today. Supercab, your ride, your way.
When a tanker bearing fuel falls or an underground pipe bearing fuel bursts, what do you do?